Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone. So, we are going to start a new module which is protection against noise and how the textile materials help in noise control. In this actually course, as I have mentioned, that it is two parts, it is divided into two parts. So, what we have discussed different types of protection from different hazards like extreme cold, extreme heat, how the textile materials help in protecting us from this extreme weather, like UV protective textiles we have discussed. Then the air pollution, how the textile material protect us from air pollution. Then in this course part 2 we have started with the water pollution, how textile materials help us in protecting ourselves from water pollution. Then we have discussed different types of mechanical related threats like ballistic protection, protection from any projectile like bullet, then cut protective textiles, then stab protective textiles, and finally, we discussed the slash protective textiles. After doing all this, now we are discussing some few more areas where we need to protect ourselves and textile can help us in protecting. So, in this module we will be discussing in detail the protection against noise. First, we will try to understand what is noise, how does it generate, what are the different types of noise. Basically, one is pleasant noise, another is which actually is harm our body. So, that is sound can be divided as the pleasant sound and noise. So, this we will discuss how they are different and different types of measurement techniques and standards we will discuss, and then we will discuss the different studies, research studies report where textile materials are used to control the noise. So, first let us try to understand the basic understanding of noise. All we know, those who have studied in the board like 10th or 12th board in science. So, we know all the theories of science, the noise. So, first let us try to understand the noise and noise pollution. And noise is basically a form of sound. The sound actually it is a form of energy, it is a energy which is generated by vibrating source. So, if there is any vibration, it will actually generate some energy and finally, it will form a sound. That sound may be we can actually within our hearing range or may not be, but this is a energy which is generated by vibrating a source, and the sound can travel through any medium like solid, liquid and gases. For travelling sound, we know we need one medium, and when it travels and reaches to our ear, that creates a sensation of hearing. Now, we can see this is the sound source which actually vibrates the air particles here, and air particles they travel through one medium. Here suppose a medium is air. So, through this medium this is travelled and it has reached to our ear. Here we can see due to the vibration, due to the this energy created, this air molecules, molecules will, the particles will start vibrating. This will start vibrating in back and forth manner, and which will create one dense zone and one is light zone, and this will travel in this manner, but the particle will not travel, the wave will only travel, particle will vibrate within this zone. So, this we will discuss little bit in detail and try to understand the various form of sound. So, the noise is a little bit different, it is a form of sound, but it is generally defined as the unwanted and unpleasant sound. So, that is called noise, and which can disturb daily activities and reduce the quality of life, that is noise. So, sound noise is a form of sound, but it is a, when it has become unwanted or unpleasant, then we will call it as noise. So, it may be pleasant, noise can be pleasant, and if it is unpleasant, then we will call it as noise. So, our main focus is a noise which is actually harmful to our to not only for human, but for other animals also. So, first we will try to understand how this noise actually affect the human in different ways and as well as the animal and all this. So, if we know this the problem, then we can control this noise from the source itself. So, as I have mentioned, all noise is sound, but not all sound is noise. If it is pleasant, then we will not call it as a noise. Okay. Suppose a beautiful song is someone is playing, which is not creating any unpleasantness, then we will not call it as a noise. Okay. But if someone is playing at a very loud voice, then the same song, same music may be disturbing, unpleasant. So, then it will become a noise. So, there is a fine line to differentiate a sound or noise. Okay. Sound means a pleasant sound or noise. So, the factors here, its intensity and loudness. Suppose one music is played with a low volume, low loudness, then it can be a pleasant, but if the intensity is of the same music is high, it has become loud, then it will become noise. Next is the duration. Suppose one loud noise is actually your duration is for a few seconds, then we will not call it as a noise, but if it is throughout the day, then that same sound become noise. So, duration is also important. Even the timing, if it is in the daytime, the same sound may be noise, it may become noise if it is the same sound is at the night time. So, depending on the time and duration also. Frequency of content, that is high pitched or low pitched. So, that becomes sometime high pitched noise becomes harmful. Okay. So, that this all we will discuss, that we will be discussing subsequently. So, frequency of content, suppose some where the high frequency is there. So, that means there you may not be able to hear like supersonic sound, but that may be harmful to us. So, this is important, and also human perception. So, sound is considered to be a pleasant for one, may be noisy for another, that is okay. Like anything I may like, but someone may not like. So, that is a it is a human perception. So, one same sound, same intensity, same duration, same frequency, one may perceive as a pleasant, other may perceive as a noise. So, the example we can see here, the pleasant sound, music, birds chirping. So, these are the pleasant sound, okay. And noise, honking of horns, machinery running, loudspeakers. So, these are the different examples. Now, what is noise pollution? Noise pollution is, it refers to the regular or excessive exposure of unwanted sound with high decibel that disrupt human and animal life, that is noise pollution. So, excessive exposure or regularly you are exposing to unwanted sound, like continuously you are in a place where the excessive sound is there. So, that is actually called sound pollution, and if it disrupt the human and animal life. So, that is noise pollution. So, it may go unnoticed, basically we normally not notice it, because we do not have that much knowledge or that much awareness about the noise pollution. So, it is the second most harmful environmental pollutant after air pollution. So, its effect is enormous on human and the animal health. So, it is a second most pollutant, harmful pollutant, okay, from environment. So, we should be very careful about the sound pollution, and these are the major sources of sound pollution. There are other sources, but major sources are from transportation, from industries, social events also create enormous sound, household equipment, construction. So, all these are actually generate sound. So, in urban area the noise pollution is very severe because of the transportation industry, social events are more in urban area, constructions are more, okay. Even household equipment, different types of modern equipment like washing machine or some other tools are used. So, that also generates noise. So, here we must be protecting ourselves, we must protect ourselves from all these types of noise, and we will discuss how textile materials can protect us. So, what are the different impacts on the human health or animals? You can see human, actually the major impact is hearing loss if prolonged exposure. Suppose someone is exposed to continuous high pitched or loud sound. So, hearing loss may be there. Sleep disturbances. So, at night when person is going for sleep, if there is a loud noise is there, so there will be sleep disturbance, and that will directly impact human health. Annoyance and reduce productivity. In case there is a sound, someone is working at the place where lots of sound is there, so concentration will not be there, he may be actually disturbed. So, it will reduce the productivity. So, for perfect productivity one need lower level of sound. Hypertension, heart disease and other stress related disorders are related to the sound. So, that it has been observed that the people in the place where the continuous throughout the day and night the continuous sound noise is there, noise pollution is there, the hypertension and heart disease and other type of stress related disorder are more to the person in that place. So, people always try to look for a place of quiet place, okay. And if we see the impact of noise on animal, the most important is that it interferes with the communication and navigation, that is very important. The animal like bird or any animal, they try to communicate with the sound, okay. If there is additional noise pollution is there, the animal cannot communicate between themselves, and that is why they cannot navigate, they cannot move in a particular place in a particular direction. So, birds and all on even on the any animals, they try to follow someone with the basis of the sound they generate. So, that will disturb the communication and navigation, it will be interfered, that is why they may be misdirected, and it may even drive the species away from habitat or risk of extinction, that is very dangerous. So, birds suppose somewhere they are placed which is initially quiet place, there they start they used to communicate and they navigate, but suppose continuous noise pollution is there, suppose in that place, and this total all the birds will try to move to other places, quiet places, or maybe due to this if everywhere this type of noise pollution is there. Suppose we assume in a forest there is continuous noise pollution is there, that means there is a risk of extinction. So, this birds they may actually die and they may be extinct. So, these are the very severe problems, and also they alter the predator prey behavior. So, this predator prey behavior actually this type of behavior basically they try to communicate through the sound. They know that someone is coming, okay, the predator is coming. So, they accordingly they can actually try to save themselves, but if there is a sound then that behavior will alter. So, noise is invisible, but it has long lasting social, environmental and health impact. So, that is why we should protect ourselves from noise, and textile we will see that how textiles help us in this mission. The sources of sound are, as we have already discussed, they arise from different sources ranging from transportation, industrial machinery, household activity, social events. So, these are the basic sources of sound. So, transportation, industries, social events, household equipment, construction. So, let us see what are the different sources in each classes. If we can identify the sources, then we can prevent. So, if we understand the sound in detail, so we can prevent the generation of sound. Sound coming from road transportation noise. So, this is actually road transportation noise. This is one of the most influential noise hazard. That is actually then when during the road transportation noise is generated from various sources that we will discuss, and it affects everyone, those who are nearby or those who are travelling inside the transport, that is inside the car or bus or any transportation. So, everyone gets affected. You can see the, if it is a, if we take example of car, the source of noise in an automobile that includes, first it comes from the engine. Engine generates lots of noise. Airborne noise, like during the friction when car is moving, okay, an automobile is moving, due to the air, the movement, air drag, there is a noise generation. Even interior noise is there, maybe due to anything, any loose component it may create, and major noise is comes from the tire noise is there, okay, and structural noise. So, due to the structure even and the exhaust noise. So, these are the different noise generating sources in an automobile. So, that is why we have to use the material. So, this noise generation, we cannot actually eliminate altogether. Engine noise we can little bit reduce by modifying the engine, but we cannot make it 0. Tire noise, we can modify the tire structure or material, we can reduce the noise, but road when is interacting with the tire, there will be some noise. So, airborne noise, that can also be little bit controlled by aerodynamic design of the automobile. So, interior noise and structural noise can be little bit reduced, exhaust noise by silencer we can use. So, that is where the textile comes into picture. Like in exhaust noise, there will be noise during exhaust, but can we reduce it, can we minimize it? Yes, we can minimize it by using proper insulator, which is textile material mainly. Even engine noise, even total interior noise, we can use the textile material to reduce the noise within the inside the automobile, even out for outside people. So, engine noise is a major noise generation source, which is coming from combustion noise and mechanical noise to create engine noise. So, as we know that during combustion there will be noise. So, here combustion is taking place, that noise will be there, because and during the mechanical movement of the parts there will be noise generation. So, that we can try to minimize it, but it is not possible to eliminate. So, there if we select the textile material for sound insulation, we can reduce the noise to a greater extent. Here you can see that in the exhaust, at the exhaust pipe we have used the textile material is shown, that actually reduce the noise to a greater extent. The engine hood liners are used to absorb the noise emitted by engine other than the exhaust noise. So, exhaust noise is also by textile material, but engine hood liner, here if we use the hood liner in the engine, that will absorb some energy. Okay. So, absorb the noise, okay, which is emitted from the action of the engine. Next is the road and tire noise, that is a great source of noise when a car is moving at high speed, or so that interaction between the road and tire. So, it is produced by friction and contact of tire with the ground. So, that is mainly due to friction, and there is a contact of tire with the ground, and that actually generates lots of noise. So, mainly due to that, the tire will have certain design for gripping. So, this is the tire. If we show, let me draw one tire here. This is a tire. Okay. Now, here the tire, if we see the tire surface, it is not the smooth, there will be some serration, some grooves are created. These grooves are created to enhance the grip with the road, so that it does not skid. But when the load is applied on the tire by a car, by the automobile, the air is actually pumping in and out through the tire groove, and that creates lots of sound. Okay. And that is one major source, and friction is also there, and contact of tire with the ground. So, this generates lots of sound. So, there a proper engineering of tire structure and also different material reduction in higher friction is also important. We cannot have lower friction. Now, we can see that here it is mainly controlled by tire material, interior absorber is there. So, where we can have certain absorber and the design of the tire. So, you can see here these are the grooves created within the tire, and inside we can have certain absorbers, sound absorber, okay, and even tire material which will optimize the friction. So, air, you can see here air pumping, this is air pumping in when this it is rotating in clockwise. So, air pumping in and here air pumping out, and you can see this is the due to the friction. So, all this generates the noise. And next is wind and airborne noise. So, due to wind there is a lot of noise generated. Now, you can see this is the, so wind and airborne noise occurs due to the drag of vehicle and its parts like the windshield, mirror, engine compartment. So, that is through air when it is moving. So, it is a drag is created. Okay. So, airborne noise is controlled by improving the design and shape of the vehicle. So, if we have modern designing where the air friction is less, we can reduce the air friction. So, proper designing is required to reduce the air friction. So, if we can reduce the air friction, then the noise can be controlled. Structural noise also is a major source of noise, and this is mainly the older type of car. So, where this we can see here the structural noise, road is there, then displacement excitation. So, there will be displacement there due to the metal parts are there, then vibration acceleration, it will start vibration, and structural noise radiation due to the vibration is there. Okay. The structural noise occurs when metallic and other parts interact between each other, such as the loose door vibrating with the door casing or window glass vibrating with the window casing. So, if there is any loose component that will generate vibration, that is structural noise. it is reduced by avoiding loose joint and using noise damper and absorber. So, in between we can use the noise dampers which will reduce the structural noise, and this noise dampers most of them are made of either rubber, composite or textile material. This is structural noise. Then exhaust noise, which is a great source of noise. So, for that we need silencer, where the textile materials are used for noise control. So, combustion gases travel through the exhaust channel, okay, and the noise by fuel combustion and gas flow combine to form a exhaust noise. So, gas flow is there plus this combustion, fuel combustion, this combined here actual combination generates a huge noise at the exhaust. If the combustion is not proper, then it will generate very high noise. Okay. So, it is mainly reduced by using silencer or mufflers at the end of the exhaust channel. So, at the end of the exhaust channel we use normally silencer or mufflers, and construction of muffler, if we see, the layers of textile materials are used to absorb this noise. So, that we will discuss in detail subsequently. Now, here you can see this is the silencer. Here we use the sound absorber that is textile materials. So, silencer filled with fibrous materials here to minimize the exhaust noise by absorbing the sound, but let the hot air pass through. So, here the silencer, that fibrous material allows the hot air to pass through, but at the same time it absorbs the moisture. Even that the hot air, it can insulate the hot air. Heat cannot, heat is actually this fibrous material can also act as the heat absorber. So, road transportation, interior noise, so interior noise basically created by the music system, that if we can control the pitch and volume, then this noise can be a pleasant noise, that can be a music. It is not a noise for all the passengers, but a noise for the outer environment. So, that music system, if someone is using a louder voice, that may not be for the passenger, but for the outside environment. So, that may be noise. And interior sound also includes that it, to prevent this sound, that sound absorbing panels and non-ovens are used to absorb this interior sound, and the carpets which are used, they also act as the sound absorber. So, you can see here sound absorbing panels, non-oven panels are here, or even carpets carpets are there to absorb this unwanted sound, unwanted noise. So, while the body helps in noise escape to the passenger component. So, this they will absorb, this nonwoven will absorb the that noise here, but the body, the metallic part will help in the transportation of transfer of sound to the environment. So, that way we can control the this interior noise. Headliners are also used for absorbing the noise, like modular component in vehicle roof for aesthetic sound absorption and thermal insulation, and also by cushioning. So, the headliners we use for all this purpose, including the aesthetic and sound absorption is also one of the important functions. Now, the construction of this headliners are they are basically a multi-layer, typically 3 layers are used. So, decorative fabrics are used in the inner layer. So, you can see this is the decorative textile materials are used in the inner layer. Then there is a foam, decorative foams are used, that also helps in sound absorption, and you can see fiber glass matting and adhesives are used. Okay. That is the core substrate, which actually is used to have insulation, we provide insulation, thermal insulation also, and at the same time the sound absorber, it helps in sound absorption. So, fiberglass matting is there. So, there are different types of different layers of material which absorb the sound. So, nonwoven fabrics act as a facing, backing or substrate depending on the design. So, here nonwoven fabrics are used in most of the cars. So, it is widely used for sound absorption. So, noise reduction tool we use the nonwoven fabrics. Then comes the hood liner. These are the hood liners positioned under the hood to provide thermal and sound insulation. It composed of a stiffening component like glass fabric or resin bonded nonwoven covered by nonwoven and foil facing. So, these are the hood liners are made of mainly glass fabric or resin bonded nonwovens. This type, the nonwoven types include a spun bonded nonwoven use, chemically bonded or needle punched nonwoven. So, different types of nonwoven fabrics are used in the hood liners. Then trunk liners are there. This is the trunk liners used in boot or luggage compartments here, including the boot liner facing, parcel sleeves, rear panel. So, different places, hold down seat backs. So, this all in these places we use textile materials for sound absorption. So, here nonwovens we can use as a composite. So, we can reinforce the nonwoven for additional durability. Sometime with some matrix material we can reinforce this nonwoven, or maybe we can use the screen material, so reinforced, so that some additional component is added or sandwiched to increase the durability, or even sometime we reinforce with the rubber coating in one side. So, that will increase the durability of the nonwovens. Door panel and parcel shelf. So, these are the door panels where textiles are used. So, nonwoven fabrics are used in the door trim, door panel trims, inserts, reinforcements. Even in floor covering we use nonwoven fabrics made of tufted or needle punched fabrics, usually spun dyed polyamide, polyester or polypropylene we use in this floor covering, which helps in absorbing the noise. Apart from road transportation, air transportation also that creates a great amount of noise, a significant source of environmental noise, especially around the airport. So, around the airport there is a great noise generated due to the air transportation. So, these are basically aerodynamic noise which are generated due to the air turbulence around the wings and different portions along with the body, control surface, fuselage. So, different places it generates sound. This is also generated, its intensity depend on the speed and altitude of the aircraft, and is especially high for low altitude and high speed military airplane. So, this type of different types of noise generated depending on the speed and altitude. Engine noise. So, at high speed we will have different noises like high speed military airplane. So, we get very high noise pollution. Even at the low altitude this aerodynamic noise is high. So, engine noise also is there, like in jet engine are dominant noise source during takeoff, climbing and landing operation. For heavy jet engine, the engine noise is great during the takeoff and landing. Propeller and rotorcraft noise. So, here we can see that there will be great noise generated. So, jet noise, okay, landing gear and everywhere there will be noise. So, propeller aircraft and helicopter produce aerodynamic noise from main and tail rotor. Additional mechanical noise originates from the gearbox and transmission system. So, auxiliary systems also generate noise. Noise come from the cabin pressurization, air conditioning system and auxiliary power units. Okay. So, if we understand the level of noise and if we know the source, then the control will be easier. So, in those places textile material help in controlling the noise. After transportation, next is industrial noise. There are different industries which generate a large number of number of sources are there. So, industries are among the largest contributors of noise pollution. So, main noise comes from the industrial activities. There the problem is that we cannot stop the industrial activity, and the person should go close to that there, and he or she is exposed to the high pitch or high loud sound for longer time. So, that is a noise pollution, especially the sectors like textile sector, it generates lots of noise. Metal sector, iron and steel, sawmill, foundries and crushing mills. So, all these industries they generate huge noise. Cement industries, the specific processes and operation that contribute the noise includes, these processes are that riveting, crushing, blasting. So, in mines and different places. So, blasting is there, lathe operation, drilling, punch press, okay, pneumatic tool. So, all you can see on all these operations, the crushing, stone crushing place, in the lathe operation, there it generates a lots of sound. So, here we have to protect ourselves, either if we cannot prevent the or reduce the noise in the source, then we can protect ourselves from this noise by providing certain noise control mechanism. Now, industrial noise, you can see drop forges, plasma jet, sand blasting, tumbling barrels. So, all these operations it generates the huge noise like weaving machine. Boiler making, grinder, milling machine, okay, and furnaces. So, everywhere it generates a noise. These activities often create a continuous, that is more dangerous, it will this activity which will create continuous high level of noise in the environment. So, that is a problem, and affecting the workers and nearby communities. So, the workers has to be there, that this one worker he has to be there, and the community nearby the any industrial activity, they will be exposed to this high level of noise continuously throughout the day and night. So, that is the problem. Apart from this, the household noise is also a great source of there are component household equipments, they generate significant background noise. Okay. The mainly household appliances, common appliances like washing machine, vacuum cleaner, mixer, grinder, refrigerator, air conditioning and television, music system, they all generate noise, okay. And there is a need to reduce this type of noise if possible. So, while often considered a routine, these are the routine activities, but continuous exposure to such noise can this continue. If we are exposed to this type of noise continuously, that can reduce our comfort level and impact well-being, especially in densely populated residential area. So, in densely populated residential area this type of activities will happen with close proximity continuously. Okay. Suppose in one particular residence that it is working for some time, after stopping, if it is densely populated the other residence, that same thing will continue and that will create the noise pollution. Like social activities are also important, and the major source of this noise. Social activities and public events can become major source of disturbance. So, if the public events take place quite often, then it will become very disturbing and continuous noise pollution will be there. So, the examples of this type of social events like parties, religious worship gathering, concert, open air events, that actually this all generate the noise. Clubs, entertainment venues, playing ground and amplified musics. So, this all generates a noise. So, for some people this may be may not be this annoying, but for others it may be annoying, but for everyone this level of noise is actually these are affecting our internal body, internal activities. And now we will discuss, we will start the impact of noise hazard, and this impact we will discuss in the next session. Till then, thank you.